Right, thank you very much for staying with us right here on Midweek Now. In the event that you're joining us right now, remember, you can communicate with us on all our social media platforms. That's at TV47KE, or you might as well use the details on the bottom right of your screen to communicate to us. Now, in this second bit of the show, I'd love to jump into an interview where we'd love to take a deep dive into what it means to be in the hotelier industry, and also with regards to the directives that were given with the Ministry of Health that restaurants and businesses can resume normal operations. Now, my first guest via Skype is Magdalene Mweriri, who is the Managing Director of Cafe Deli Eateries. Magdalene?
Hello.
Hi, Magdalene. Can you get me?
Yes, I can get you.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, and I'd just love to jump into it straight away.
Okay.
All right. Now, just before the directive was given that the restaurants should shut down, it was normal business as usual. I'd just love for you to take us back to that time when the directive was given that the restaurants should shut down and normal business as usual. What was the feeling then? What was the mood that was going on at that time? What was going on in your mind?
Basically, we were already aware that the hospitality industry was going to be the hardest hit.
All right.
So what happened when we were given the directive that we needed to have takeaway and delivery services only? Of course, we had to close down our normal operations and concentrate on this directive,
All right.
which was not very good because we lost around 98% of our clients.
All right.
And the revenue. Yeah, so it was never the same after the first directive on the deliveries and takeaways.
Okay. Now, the biggest part of any business entity is usually the employees, because they play a very big role. And we've seen a number of companies and firms let go of their employees, others taking pay cuts. What did your franchise do? How did you handle the employees when the directive came down that restaurants were supposed to be shut down?
Yeah, we had to communicate to them and tell them what was going on.
Yeah.
That was very important.
Yeah.
Then, of course, it was not business as usual. So there's nothing they were going to do in the restaurants.
Yeah.
There was no work at that point.
Okay.
So we had to release them on unpaid leave.
Okay.
Until now, the point where we could resume back to the normal business.
All right. Now, even in the event that the business closed down, the employees have been taken home on paid leave. There are still other businesses that are actually going on, other restaurants that were doing home deliveries and continuing with business, even though it wasn't the normal way of doing businesses. For Cafe Deli, how did you handle business during this lockdown period?
We concentrated on takeaway and deliveries,
Yeah.
where we had a company which helped us do the deliveries.
All right.
So we have all our numbers online where clients could call in and book for deliveries. And then we also had people coming in for takeaways.
Okay.
And we had to maintain the 1 meter distance.
Yeah.
And we actually had to cut down on cash payments. We only accepted M-Pesa payments.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the directive that was given just about 2 days ago that the ban has been lifted and restaurants were allowed to get back into operation under strict measures given by the Ministry of Health. I know this was a sigh of relief for many hoteliers. Now, how prepared are you to get back into business? Because certain guidelines that were given out would seem expensive in that manner, so to say, in terms of not being able to meet your cost because you'll be having lesser and lesser customers in the business space, and also in terms of testing. Just take us through, how ready are you as Cafe Deli to resume business?
Okay, first of all, that directive was welcomed.
Yeah.
But now the only problem is the implementation.
Yes.
They released the checklist on what we are supposed to do, and it had around 31 items on that checklist.
Yeah.
Where now the county officials will come and do the inspection after you've already done everything that is required of you.
All right.
So one of the issues was we needed to have all our employees tested.
Okay.
And I remember when the directive was given, we were told that when we go to any government labs, it was going to be free.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, We went today, but apparently they don't have the tests kits. So what that means is that now we need to go to the private.
All right.
And they're charging highly, because one person, as we speak, is around 10,000 to 12,000.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, just on the answer that you've given, you went to get the necessary directives and the necessary measures. You went to take the necessary measures that were given out by the Ministry of Health in terms of health, and you've mentioned that the test kits were not available, right?
Yes.
Did they communicate that this was going to be available at a certain date, or this was final?
No, we were only told that the test kits were ordered and they are waiting. So we are not sure when they are going to have them. So we need to go to the private hospitals to get the tests done.
So basically what I'm trying to understand is that they did not give you a definite date as to when you should come back and get the tests.
No.
Okay. Now, you've mentioned going through the private route, which is rather expensive, meaning you have to now incur this cost as an entity. Are you going to take this route?
For us to open, we need to take that route as we wait for the government.
All right.
So even if it means that we will open a smaller section or even one branch, then that is what we are going to do. Because as we keep on waiting, remember, we are also losing in terms of revenues.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's just get back into another directive that stood out when they were issued. It's the one regarding the 1.5 meter apart for the customers that will be in the business premises. Now, to my understanding, this means you're going to have reduced number of customers in your outlets, right?
Yes.
So, as a business, at the end of the day, the core function of a business is to make profit. And this will definitely mean that profits are going to be low. Are customers going to expect a hike in prices?
No, at this moment, we are not considering hiking the prices.
Yeah.
First of all, we need to get the foot traffic.
Okay.
And I'm sure once we open, and as much as we are going to reduce the number of clients, it's going to be better than what it is right now.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, you've definitely had a conversation with your peers who are in the same industry and a big sector that's going to be affected. Let's move away from Cafe Deli, which is sort of a high-end eatery, so to say, for lack of a better word, and move to these other people who are vending on the ground. I want to believe you've had conversations with them. What are they looking at? Because if they don't meet these sudden measures, they're going to be out of business. What have you heard from word on the streets?
Okay, one of the things that is very clear, establishments which are very small cannot open at this point.
Yeah.
Because what will be the point of, if, for example, an eatery which has a 70 or 60 seating capacity, and now when you put in place the 1.5 meters, then the 4 people per 10 square meters, it won't make any sense, because at a sitting you'll be required to have like 4 people or 6.
All right.
Yeah, so most of them are not keen on opening at this point because of now the regulations, which are very necessary at this point. Others, we are still on the same boat trying to figure out where our employees are going to get tested.
Yeah.
And then again, even the other requirements that have been put in place are also costly. Because we are now required to have the flowing water, hot and cold, at all entrances and at the dining areas.
Yeah.
Which is going to be expensive, but though it's necessary.
Yeah.
And then also have someone who keeps on checking temperatures throughout the day.
Okay.
That's another cost. And also buying the thermometers.
All right.
Yeah, so we are all in the same boat.
Okay.
We are trying to look at what we can do. And then, we need to do them at the shortest time possible.
Yes.
But then again, it's not in our hands.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we'll do everything in the checklist, but then we have to wait for the county officials to come and check if we have really complied.
Okay. Now, just as we wrap up this conversation, earlier on you mentioned that you had to take your employees on unpaid leave. And before this, you've just told me that the core desire of Cafe Deli is to resume business. You're not really looking at the cost. How are you going to be able to keep the business afloat when you bring back your employees, because they'll need to be paid, and at the same time you're incurring the costs that should have been incurred by the government?
First of all, we are not able to bring all the employees on board at this time.
Okay.
Keep in mind, the operation has not resumed normally.
Yeah.
Because we are operating from 5 to 4.
Okay.
And basically, we are not going to open at 5 because that is the time the curfew ends. So probably we'll open at 7.
Okay.
And then between 7 and 4, of course, the foot traffic is, as compared to the normal business operation, we had a lot of foot traffic from around 4 till late.
Yeah.
So now we are looking at 7 to 4. So by 3, everyone is in a rush to go home.
Okay.
That the clientele.
All right.
So it doesn't make any sense to bring all the employees on board, considering also the cost implication and the amount of work that is going to be there. It's not going to be the business as usual.
Yes.
Yes, we're going to cut down on the numbers of clients based on the sitting with the regulations that have been put in place.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, now just as we wrap this, you've definitely been in this industry for a while and managed different businesses, I want to believe. One last question. As Cafe Deli and as somebody who runs eateries, do you see yourselves getting back to normalcy? Do you ever see this industry resuming normalcy?
Yes, it is. It's going to take a while. That is one thing that we have to accept.
Yeah.
It's not going to be plug and play. It's going to take, most businesses are not going to recover even when COVID now ends.
Yeah.
Maybe even in a month's time, because what we've lost is too much.
Okay.
So it's a wait and see, but recovery, give or take, it will take almost another 1 year to recover from all this.
All right. Magdalene Warimu, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. That was Magdalene Warimu, the Managing Director of Cafe Deli, which is a popular eateries within the city, and she believes that it's not a matter of plug and play, that with time they will resume normalcy, and they're hoping for the best. For those employees who are on unpaid leave, they will be bringing them back slowly, not a whole lot, and hopefully when they get to the level that they can, all other employees who are back at home can resume normal operations. Thank you very much for that. At this point, we'd love to take our second break, but don't go away. When we get back, we want to get an economical perspective of this whole situation. Do stay with us.